Yo, MDP, that's me, and welcome to another video about Project Rene, aka The Sims 5. In this video, we're going to talk about what we have learned so far with Project Rene, and I'm not going to lie, I am very disappointed. I'm not angry, but I'm disappointed. As you know, with Project Rene, they announced. I don't even remember when they announced, to be honest. I don't remember if it was this year or last year because my months have like just all mushed together. I spent 3 months um, away from home, and I came back, and I still feel like it's the beginning of the year, but it's actually past the middle of the year now. So so what we know is that it's going to be mobile cross. It's going to be for consoles. We know that through Unreal Engine 5, we have all kinds of different tools, right? We know that for sure from Unreal Engine 5. So they showcased a bunch of that way back when, and there's some screen grabs of that. And I have another video just about when that all was announced that you can go check out. And so, well, after all this time of hearing absolutely nothing about Project Rene, we suddenly had 2 days of information, right? And this was the first thing that we got, which was behind the Sims stream that they did, where they were talking about the Sims 4 Horses expansion pack, and then they had a segment about Project Rene. So here's a little post from me talking. I took some screenshots from the stream while I was listening, and let's go through these. And first off, this is like the first screenshot they show us. I look at this and I'm like, wow, that looks really good. However, the first thing I notice, and maybe it's just because my brain goes to the first mistake I see, is that this door isn't a door. And maybe they're not there in animation with doors working yet, but I noticed that it's against the wall, not in the wall, because door frames there are in the wall. So that's the first thing I noticed, and I was like, huh. But then I looked at other things, right? I love this. I love some of the things. I love the artwork. But that is like, oh, but that's built and buy. I am a CAS person. I make it. I love making characters. It's my favorite thing about creating anything of any world is the people in them. So I was very interested in see if they would let us know what the people would look like. I am going to say very upfront, I like to see that we're going to have 3 types of people with different animations. It brings me back to The Sims 2 when we had shy Sims and we had other Sims that were more outspoken, right? There were different animations for shy Sims than there were other Sims. And then we had lazy Sims, and it based off their personalities, how they did things and how they, the facial features and things like that. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, okay, all right. I noted it says prototype. So I was like, okay, this is just very early development. When they were just brainstorming and figuring out things, there's a little asterisk here on every single one of these screenshots, which I know you can't tell because I screenshot it straight from YouTube, so you can't really see what it says, but it says visuals are exploratory and do not represent final gameplay. So I was like, okay. And then they showed us this really cool ombre effect that you could do with hair customization. And I know this is a screenshot, so you can't see it, but you can go to the video. I did link it on my post, so you can go and find it and see how they drag the ombre to make different effects with hair coloring. This is an Unreal Engine tool. This isn't something they made. This is something already in the engine. And I could say that for every game that uses an engine like Unreal or uses Unity. They're using the tools within the engine. Of course they are. Why wouldn't they? So it was really neat that they showcased it. But as soon as I saw the clay hair, I went, while I do like the clay hair for Sims 4, I use the clay hair for Sims 4. I do not for Sims 2, in which I'm a majority Sims 2 curator, and I do play Sims 4. We'll say play though, because it's so shallow, it's hard to actually have real content in gameplay. So I saw the clay hair and immediately I felt disappointed. And although I understand, other people pointed out to me, oh, the reason why clay hair is because of mobile. And I get that, but at the same time, it's kind of disappointing that they're continuing the same style from The Sims 4, because The Sims 1, Sims 2, Sims 3, up to Sims 4, all different styles, every single one of the games. Yes, The Sims 1 and Sims 2 use the same engine. They use some of the same, concepts in them, so it was kind of easier for them to build off of. Sims 3 absolutely copied animations from Sims 2. Sims 4, they did build a brand new foundation engine and everything for it, although it was supposed to be a social game, but they ended up scrapping that. That's another thing I've talked about way in the past about Project Olympus. But I just feel like, okay, but every iteration of the game past, we've had a different stylized approach for every game, and you could see like this, curvature of finding a different style, and I just feel like it's kind of a little bit lazy to stay in the same style as the previous game. I can be wrong, but I was disappointed that they didn't even, this is just one hair. We haven't seen other hairs, so I shouldn't go overboard about this, but I would like to see more strand hair. I would like, not necessarily alpha hair. I understand that alpha hair is tremendously high poly and things of that nature, whatever. But at the same time, I'm just like, make it different. Make it fresh. Make it new. Don't stay the same, because it's a new generation. You don't want it to be the same thing. You want it to be something new to bring in the people who didn't like the style of Sims 4 for something new. Then it got worse. And then we got this. And when I saw this, I was like, that looks like that Disney game. And not that people can't like that Disney game, but I wondered about stylistic approaches between the games, because we have other games, which I'll talk about a little bit later, that have a sense of style. What was going to be Project Rene's style? What was going to be Sims 5 style? And then I see Disney. And immediately, that saddens me. I know that EA and Disney are affiliated because of Star Wars, we know that. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't want Disney in The Sims. And it's neat when people do make like Disney characters in The Sims and have like a Pixar kind of looking thing. Sure, that's cool. Do whatever your style is. But at the same time, I'm just like, this is going further away from some people that would like something different. And they were able to do like a happy medium with custom content with The Sims 4, which I'm not saying they won't be able to do that with Sims 5, but what I see so far, and this is just prototype, let me put a big disclaimer, prototype. I got it worse. I like cartoony. Don't get me wrong, I like cartoony. I love exaggeration in the games, because it has always been exaggerated all the way through the Sims game. Sims 1 was quite dark, actually, but Sims 2 was quite exaggerated. Not gonna lie. It was quite exaggerated. Facial expressions. Woo! We got teeth floating everywhere. But, like, Sims 3, also exaggerated, although in a worse kind of way, because it was really wonky. And Sims 4, really exaggerated, and it like the eyes and stuff cut through each other. It's real like horror kind of stuff. But like, is this almost comic book looking? Which is not a bad thing if you're a comic book kind of person, right? I love comic books. I have many. I even drew a few. But like, prototype. Gotta keep telling myself that, right? Gotta keep telling myself. And then... Here's a funny thing about this. I was listening, I was kind of half listening though when we got to this portion of it. Like I was looking at the videos, I was studying the screenshots they were putting out, I was pausing, taking screenshots, and then I would check my phone and blah 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 blah. But then I heard something and I'm like, wait a minute! So then I go back. And I put on closed captioning. I'm like, I heard that wrong. I absolutely heard that wrong. My brain was filling in things that weren't actually there. This lady is Jill? This lady is Jill. She's a producer for Rene. And she actually said this on the stream. Now, I joked back when the Sims Horses expansion pack, I don't actually know what it's called, but that's what I'm calling it. They had put out this leak, and everyone, because it was German and somebody translated it to English, right? And so everyone was like, oh, but this doesn't sound right in English. This sounds like something AI made up. And then so an actual German speaking person said, oh, yeah, that sounds like to me in native tongue that this also sounds like something AI drug up. Well, and I said to somebody else, I was like, well, I wouldn't pass EA to cut out people and put AI in charge of things like this. Maybe that was so. But, when you're going to go on a big stream and stream to the world about your product, mayhaps you have an actual person who is called an editor to make sure the little thing that you're reading on the screen, isn't filled with something that says, oh, we're actually experimenting with how little we can get away with in this game. And then she was specifically talking, I believe, about animations and expressions, right? But you just showed me this, right? You just showed me this and showing that we can do separate kinds of people and how they interact. But then you show me this after showing me this and this and this and this and this and this. In which actually they show doors here. So this is not a secret. Especially with The Sims 4, that EA can cut as many corners as possible. They cut people out, they cut production out, they cut quality out. We're not going to deny this about EA. They gave us a lower product, more expensive. And they fed it to people, and people actually bought it, which this is still crazy to me that people are spending over $1,000 on a game for completionist's sake. And I can't even do that. Even though I do have the archive and I do so much in Sims 4 and I have a story in Sims 4, I don't even own close to half of the packs. I don't even think I own a fourth of the packs, to be honest with you. I don't own every expansion. I don't own any kits. I don't own near any of the stuff packs. I think I have 5 of them maybe. I have a few of the game packs. And I can imagine, because I think it was after Dine Out, I was like, wow, they're giving me hardly anything for the price of this. Hardly anything. I liked Vampires, I liked Get to Work. But at the same time, I was like, there's a lot missing from these packs that could have been better. And I said, well, maybe this and that. I made some excuses in my head, but then Dine Out came out, and I was like, this is so broken and this is so bad, and still to this day it's broken. That's sad to me. But the fact that they actually said the silent thing, the quiet thing aloud through this person, shouldn't throw her under the bus, but she still works for them and she still said their words, right? She said the quiet thing out loud. Maybe she did that on purpose. It's a warning to your consumers to tell them, we're going to give you as little as possible. Is that a mistake? I hope it's a mistake. I hope that this is a misquote and they're saying we're just simplifying certain effects to make more. I hope that's what that means. But if I do a direct quote from what she was talking about, it doesn't feel like that. So, EA gonna EA, right? That's a saying I've been saying for a while now. But we had this. I'm going to assume that this is extremely early on because this looks like some Among Us toys, if you know what I mean. And I'm assuming this is talking about pathing. They're trying to figure out pathing and things like that, right? Extreme basic animation stuff. How your people move in the environment. This is just showing that pathing and things like that. I noticed that these little sidewalks or pavement, if you're from different places, they're a little bit off the grass, which is cool, which is nice. Kind of like that. Here's a better, actually, this is better showing. And it shows shadows and things like this. So I'm assuming that's just a test area for things of that nature, right? What I have said to other people, because we had this screenshot, right? And then these were leaked photos from somebody who play tested. This person put these up recently, but these were from something else that had been play tested or had been leaked previously. And we're seeing full rendered things here, right? We're seeing cars, we're seeing an entire world here. So when we have this screenshot and this is the leaked screenshot, I'm like, okay. But actually, when I saw these leaked screenshots, the first thing I thought, well, man, that kind of looks like Arnie's world that Arnie built. Which I don't know what engine Arnie built his game in. But that's what it kind of reminded me of. So when I saw these screenshots, all of them from the stream, I said to someone else, I said, to me, when I look at these, I'm saying that these aren't from recent game development. I'm saying this is from extremely early game development. But at the same time, this is the same scene in this picture. So if these are the Sims that they're working on right now, my next assumption is that they started with build and now they are just now on the Sims. I don't know how long it's been in production. They've actually never said when production started, as far as I know from everything I've read, which there isn't much since the announcement to this now. So, and I can go back through with a fine-tooth comb to see if my hearing was just being selective. But the lighting here is so much different than here. And maybe because it's zoomed out and maybe that has an effect on the lighting. But as you could say how soft white it is compared to, it's somehow more cartoony lighting. And it's not the same to me when I look at this versus when I look at this. So maybe this is a full render and this is not. So that's where I'm going. I'm saying that these screenshots were taken maybe a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. We know, I believe it's about 5 years ago that they started doing the hiring process for people. At least that's when they put out jobs out for people to apply for. So I'm saying that this is, it does say prototype, right? So I'm assuming that this is not recent. And that somewhere down the line, maybe in another year, half a year, or whatever, that they'll give us more insight into what the Sims look like. However, we look at this tiny little plumb bob. It is so small compared to other plumb bobs that we have. That's like, in Nightlife, when you went on a date and you had that other little small plumb bob. That's what that reminds me of. Or like, I think in Sims 4 they have a little, which I don't think is a plumb bob. I think it's kind of like a round thing. Like a spear of some kind when you're in groups. But like, it's so small. I do like the stickers on the fridge though. That wasn't the last news we got from The Sims 5, aka Project Rene. Oh no. We got this announcement. that EA is going to make The Sims 5 free from day one. And a lot of people were like, whoa, mega corporation EA Games, who will, they price gouge everyone for everything. They're going to make their game free. They did make Sims 4 base game free recently. But that was after, I don't know, when base game came out, I think it was $60 USD. I mean, I know it's largely more expensive in Brazil and in other countries which do like a luxury tax, I think like Australia. And so when they said it was free, people were freaking out like, why would EA do that? That's a very EA-like, right? They want the money. They need the money. They corporation. It's in their blood. But then you click on the article. I will say that I did not read the article I didn't read everything completely. But like, they put up these bullet point items, and then they did highlighted of these bullet point items, at least these first two. And what they say very directly is that it's going to have an in-game marketplace, which is something I predicted a very, very, very long time ago. And the reason why I predicted it a very, very, very long time ago is, one, because of Second Life. Because people were discovering Second Life, and it was becoming more and more popular. And then we had the big pay versus free content debate that got really out of hand. People were up to suing people, and EA got flooded with all kinds of nasty messages, and so they had to actually like think about it. And for a hot second, they banned all paid content, and then they backed out of it like within a few days or a week or whatever it was. It was very sad. But however, let's put on our corporation hat for a second. Let's think about this. If I know that I have a lot of loyal customers that so happen to be content creators that have made so much freaking money on my game, why don't I give them a marketplace to sell out and let me take a chunk of those profits? Think about that for a second. Amazon does it with all their creators, don't they? I am a indie author. I hardly get any of the money that I make off of my books. So I know for sure there's going to be this 70-30, or there's going to be this 80-20, or maybe they'll be nice to people and do it 60-40, but I doubt it. I very highly doubt it. It's probably going to be closer to 70-30. And so we give you the tools to make it. You make it. You upload it. We give you all of these things to campaign, market, and offers, and promotions, and do all this stuff, and I give you the platform to do it. I get a cut of those profits because it's mine. But I'll let you put it up for you to make some money. That's what's happening here. I wondered when they did the Curse Forge, was that going to be about controlling what custom content could be made, or was that for some larger scheme? And I talked about it a little bit in my other video when Project Rene was announced, and that's at the end of the video when I got the announcement for Curse Forge. I think it was like within the same day. And I don't remember, because it was so long ago, I don't remember if I go into my like theories about it. But in the small part of my brain, I thought that they may use it to see how many people would actually use it, to see if they can make a marketplace out of it. Evidently, the data that they've collected from Curse Forge is enough for them to be like, we absolutely can do this. So, they say free and paid custom content, right? How many people are actually going to do it for free? This is a problem in Second Life. Hardly any of it is free at all. And what is free is from mostly beginners, which makes sense, But me as a person, this is extremely turn off. Not only have you already said that the game is going to be mobile-based, cross-platform, and also I think they did say consoles. Of course they would, because if they didn't, that's a market that they would be cutting off, and I doubt that they would ever do that. But they're really emphasizing about the mobile, right? And I don't know. I was like reading this, and I don't actually show. Maybe they do, and I just glanced over it. There's a management team, which I'm assuming that there's going to be like favorite people, and they're going to like do some kind of way of who's the better market and who's not, and there'll be a whole popularity contest. I wonder if they'll do reviews. That's something Amazon does for their products. I wonder if they'll do that. There's a fly in here. Okay, but I don't see here executives and stakeholders to garner support for investments and possible visibility on return investments, so people can return their products. I don't see here, however, that they say that they're going to give you the tools to make your content. Now, some of us do remember early Sims 3 days, right before Sims 3 came out, that Maxis said that they were going to not allow custom content to be made. Later, they turned their heels on that because they did make the Sims 3 store, but they made it ridiculously, as ridiculously as possible as they could, for you to make custom content, whereas Sims 2 gave you body shop. I mean, it was very polarizing. And so, but people figured out how to make custom content, and, you know, we ran with it. And, of course, then they didn't make the Sims 3 store. But then with Sims 4, they kind of didn't really say anything about custom content, and then they just kind of embraced that people were going to make it. So, you know, we're like, well, okay, that's fine. And, but so far I have not seen anything here that says that actually they're going to give you the tools. Maybe I missed that somewhere, somehow. It says curate collaboratively, but I don't see where it says you will get our tools. So I'm looking. I can skim real fast, but no, I don't see it. It says there's a roadmap that includes all of the critical monetization levers. So they're very leaning heavy into anything that's monetized for this. We're going to give you the game for free, but every single thing in this game is going to be monetized. On top of this, in the Sims 4 video that I linked here, that when they were doing the horses, they did a rebrand of Maxis and the Sims again. Is this the 8th time? I believe it is. And in this, the person who they had it spoke to the audience like those people who do children's shows. And that irked a lot of people. Like, I was on Twitter and people were like going crazy about it, saying, this is not a child game, it is T for teen. It has always been T for teen, even in the Sims 4 days, which was pretty dark. I mean, there's dark humor in it. Maybe, like, rated M for mature in some instances, but, you know, it's T for teen back then. It's T for teen to me still. But, like, so the fact that they are catering to children and doing it so boldly and shamelessly in some ways by the very cartoony things that we saw in that showcase is very worrisome. And I've had people tell me, oh, but the marketplace and all that, well, that's not going to cater to children. Have you ever heard of Roblox? Catered to children. Fortnite catered to children. Monetized. Of course, you know, they think, oh, because kids don't have money. Well, kids will bug the crap out of their parents to get them money. To get the game stuff. Give me. Or, you know, some children who are idiots will just steal their parents' money and use it, whatever. There are kids that are like that. Let's not deny that. We all saw that news article story of the person, that one kid who used like $10,000 of their family's money to buy things on Roblox. That happened. So, yeah, Project Rene. At least they're going out and telling us it's all about the money and that they are going to give us as little as possible. The pain! The pain! Tears my soul to see where The Sims has gone. Alright, let's look at something that'll make us happy. Oh, Life by You. Whew. If you don't know about this game is by Paradox Tectonic, and it is made by the original creator of Maxis, Rod Humble. Rob and Paradox Tectonic, I always have a hard time saying their name. They are the makers of City Skylines and many other games. And I don't remember if this game is getting made in, I think it is being made in Unreal Engine 5 also. The wonderful thing that we've seen so far by Life by You is not only have they been very active showing us, they've been putting out YouTube videos like 2 weeks ago, 12 days ago, 5 days ago, 3 weeks ago, 1 month ago. I mean, all the way to March when it was announced, right? They've been putting out videos. They've been putting out shorts of those videos where they answer questions in those videos. And they also answer questions on YouTube, on their Twitter, questions that are asked in those videos. So that is like the best thing about this studio, is that they are so transparent about everything. They're so honest, and they're so excited about this game that they are not afraid to answer questions. And that's so refreshing, that I can ask a question on a video and then like a day later it's got an answer. Are you kidding me? When has this ever happened in The Sims? When have they ever like went down YouTube and like, oh, okay, I see that everyone's asking this question a lot. Well, here's the answer to it. When? Never. I've never seen it. Never. So the fact that this team is doing that is amazing and so refreshing, and I love it. I love it. Now, they did show us art style here with The Sims, and it did get a lot of negativity. This person photoshopped it to their idolized version. A lot of times, however, when people, even though this person is a custom content maker, I believe, they don't understand how lighting works in games and things like that. They don't understand that it's not like Photoshop. You can't just, add color. In-game lighting has environmental lighting and things like that, which I'm not going to talk about. But like, here's some early access video. Here's what they showed us. Here's an actual screenshot of one of the humans. They call them humans in game. So I mean, this game isn't done. This game isn't done. It still isn't polished yet. It is going to be an early access release in September, which you can sign up for and you can pre-order. And actually, they have told us if you pre-order now, it's cheaper for when the full game is out. So you can go ahead and do that. And that's pretty cool that and they're very excited about this, in which I plan to make a separate video of just by Life by You, and also about our girl over here, Paralives. Paralives is a very stylized life simulation. If you don't know about this game, it is by indie developers, not studios like Life by You and The Sims, which is Maxis and which is Paradox Tectonic. See, I have a hard time saying it. But Paralives was made by one person named Alex, and he developed a team. It's still a very small team, right? And for 3 years, Alex has been showing us the development of this game. Here's the first video. It's showing us things and showing how it's getting better and more, and showing us the paras and going on and on about the things. And they've shown us so much beautiful things about this game. Very stylized game. A lot of people turned off by the cartooniness, but it is completely going to be moddable. They're going to, just like Life by You has told us, they are going to give you everything to create whatever you want. That they're going to give you the tools to be able to do that, which is something still Project Rene has not said, even though they're going to do a marketplace. Kind of weird thing to say, but, that's the one thing that Paralives has said from the very beginning, that they're going to give us the tools. And so that's a major turn on to me as a creator. And if I get to build my own world, even better. That's one thing that always has bugged me about The Sims 4. I cannot build my own world, so it will never, never truly be my world. Big letdown, EA. And of course, Paralives has a Twitter for you to look at all their, look at the cute little plushies. I mean, it's adorable. And they have a website where you can go and look at their frequently asked questions of development and things like that. But the one thing that Paralives has done that I think, even though Life by You has been very transparent, they're not showing us their baby steps, which maybe that is what Project Rene has showed us. They showed us some of the baby things, right? The very early stage things. But Paralives has given us a roadmap. They have given us, for every section of the game, what is done, what isn't done, what is going to be here, what is going to be at this timeline, what is going to be at this timeline. They don't have, a timeline of when the game is actually going to be out. They haven't announced it, but I think between the dev team they do know, but they're not announcing it yet because they're a small team of 10. 10 people worked on this game. And I don't think all of them are full time, but it's just like they're a small team. And they're building a very pretty game. And this game, I believe, is run on Unity. It's different from the other two, which I believe are both Unreal Engine 5. This is made on Unity. So it's a little bit different. And I know a lot of people were like, oh, Life by You and Project Rene are stealing ideas from Paralives. Which, maybe, but also it maybe just functions in the engine. So, which, Alex, the creator of Paralives, he says he's not worried about things like that because EA gonna EA. So, and Life by You it's a whole new ball game for us. We're still excited because it's brand new, it's shiny, and we just now got to know it this year. So, Paralives has been with us for 3 years, and I know a lot of people are nervous about that it's been 3 years in development, but I'm like, yeah, but some games are in development for a long time. Like that one Final Fantasy game that was in development for 15 years. So, these are the life simulator games. And the best thing about all of this is that The Sims has competition. Competition is good, right? They're going this direction, right? They're going this direction. Like Second Life, which, I look back at Second Life, which is a game community that is completely in chaos. I mean, from what I've heard from people who are actually in the community, there's no policing. It's a very chaotic kind of community, which I'm not saying that Sims is any by means the straight and narrow, but that's where we're gonna go with this because we know when the Sims 2 Ultimate Collection went on Origin, EA couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle all the complaints. They couldn't handle, all the requests for it. They couldn't handle it, so they pulled it. So you're going to tell me that the same people are going to be able to handle the complaints of a marketplace? How are they going to police it? And by saying that there's a marketplace, is this going to be the only avenue in which you can put up custom content? Knowing our wonderful modders in this community today that have, from Sims 3 Day, and they figured out how to do the custom content without EA, giving them the ability to, but they figured it out anyway, we'll find a way. We'll find a way to go around. But at this point in time, what I see with Project Rene, aka Sims 5, I'm not going to invest in it. I know it's free to play, meaning that they're not charging you for a base game, right? I see nothing to make me invest time in it. Maybe a little curiosity, download it one day, see what it's all about, but the fact that it is going to be mobile based, the fact that it is going to be monetization, the fact that it is going to be multiplayer, the fact that it may be geared towards children because of the very cartoony aesthetic, and also because money. And the fact that this lady said this statement after everything we've gone through in The Sims 4 for almost a decade now, which is a horrible thing to think out loud. that it's been going on for a decade. The other iterations only had 4 years. But, like, the fact she said this quiet thing out loud is a major turnoff. It's very disappointing. And I don't see anything, even in these leaked screenshots, that makes me excited. I mean, besides cars. Big improvement already from Sims 4. There are vehicles! Can we actually drive them? Who knows? So, I mean, very disappointing. But what I know about Life by You, I see a lot of positives. What I know about Paralives, I see a ton of positives. So, when your heart and soul is put in something that you love, it reflects in your product. So, this has been my video about Project Rene and what we have learned so far. What are your thoughts? What are your questions? What do you feel about this game so far? What are your, speculations? What are your theories? We shall not pretend that we know everything that a mega corporation is going to do, right? But then we can kind of just be like, we kind of do. But let me know down in the comments, or you can contact me at mdp.tumblr.com. And happy simming.